Being needed and feeling important. Completely unable to cope or even fathom processing through the grief of losing soccer, I did what I knew to do best. I stuffed the pain further down inside me and pretended that everything was okay. While I said goodbye to scholarships, I accepted my entrance into the local university and began coaching 13 to 17-year-old boys soccer with a man I knew vaguely from the boys program around town. Being only a year older than some of the boys didn't stop my coaching partner from bringing me on board. He took me under his wing and taught me everything he knew. We did coaching training camps and co-coached a few different boys' teams together. Being around him empowered me to stay active within the soccer community. During the first practice I attended, he had me scrimmage with the boys. I remember every detail like it was yesterday. We were at the local park, under the buzzing lights with the older boys. Having been told that I would never play again, I must have given him a puzzled look when he told me to get in there. "Just trust me, Morgan," he said. I was so desperate to get back on the pitch that I trusted him. And what do you know? It was like the second my body went back into combat zone, it remembered exactly what to do. The second I caught a pass in the wing, it was like ecstasy raced through my body again for the first time. I looked up and I knew I was home. I leaned into my defender and knew exactly what to do next. I pulled the signature move right over on him and sped by as he was still spinning in his tracks. The rest of the boys howled, and I played the ball back into the center of the pitch. Feeling over the moon to know I still had it, I looked back at my coaching partner, beaming from ear to ear. "See, I told you to trust me," he said, as I came back to the sideline. "You schooled them just like I knew you would, and now they will take you seriously as the authority here with me." And he was right. I went on to coach some of those boys for the next 4 years. It was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, watching them blossom from goofy tweens to some stand-up young men. They took me seriously, and we did work. I'd sit and talk with my coaching partner each night after practice. Dangling my legs off the back of his truck, he would tell me how great I was with the boys and how they responded to me in a particular drill. We'd occasionally have to pull a good cop, bad cop routine, but even when I coached them alone, I always had their respect. Just as my ego was properly greased, he would come to stand between my legs, still dangling off the bed of his truck, and kiss my forehead before I left each night, telling me how grateful he was to have me. I trusted him completely and never thought anything the wiser. I felt so appreciated and important. Soon, he began telling me that the payments had started coming in late from the team mom, and that he wasn't going to be able to pay me on time. I trusted him, so I kept showing up. He started having more work things come up, so he needed me to cover more solo nights. I knew he needed me, so I kept showing up. I'd see the team mom come up and talk to him all the time, but he would still tell me the payments were delayed. The next thing I know, months had passed without me receiving any payment, but I was so in love with coaching these boys that I kept showing up. One day at the restaurant, while talking to my dad, I had to barricade him inside of the shop because he was ready to go and punch this guy in the face for taking advantage of me. I assured him that all was well and that I would be paid. Weeks and weeks went by with no payment received. I would show up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and week after week, I continued to not be paid. And every night after practice, he would kiss me on the forehead and tell me how great I did, and I would trust that the money was coming. The money never came. One night, I was solo coaching when I saw the team mom in the parking lot and flagged her down and politely asked her when we could expect the money to arrive. She informed me that she had paid religiously on the first of every month and that my partner refused to show up if it was even one day late. She assured me that all payments were up to date and always on time. She must have read the confusion on my face because she then asked me, "Morgan, are you not being paid?" I shook my head no. She scoffed and asked me for how long. When I told her how long, she was beside herself. She expressed how great of a job I was doing with the boys and how my partner was completely out of line for treating me this way. I didn't understand what was going on because he had always been so loving and affectionate with me. She promised to cut me a check directly before giving my partner his cut and would speak with him about what I was owed. My dad was livid when he learned that his suspicions were true, and I felt strangely comforted that he wanted to punch my partner in the face for me. At the next practice, my partner handed me an envelope of cash and barely spoke to me the entire night. He scolded me in front of the boys for their goofing off, and he never touched my face in the parking lot again. He was punishing me for going behind his back to get paid. His alpha ego was bruised, and I would take the brunt of it. Knowing that he had a temper, I took on the slack so it wouldn't be directed at the boys. When he started to get heated, I stepped in to take over the session and would invite him to go cool off. At the end of each practice, he would collect his belongings and be out of the parking lot before some of the parents had even collected their children. I felt like I was doing the right thing by protecting the boys from his rage, but I also knew it was all my fault. I should have never said anything to the team mom. I had disrupted the magic that we had created, and it would never be the same again.